Good evening, Professor Pratt, and welcome to my presentation, The Real Problem Behind the Martha Stewart Story by Glenn Owens. So the case started with a quote, "Going to prison usually ends the career of an executive unless the executive is Martha Stewart." Martha Stewart had a 5-month stay in an American prison in 2005 for an insider trading investigation which hindered her image as well as the company she created. After her conviction, she resigned as chairman and CEO of the company she founded and controlled, Martha Stewart Living Omnimedia. After 2004, where she was convicted related to an insider trading investigation, her personal image was so connected with the company that revenue as well as share prices still dropped dramatically. She returned to Martha Stewart Living Omnimedia after her release, where the media was quick to forgive her. They flocked to her namesake magazine, and she even got signed to star in 2 brand new TV shows. After Martha Stewart returned to Martha Stewart Living Omnimedia with a new CEO by her side, as well as allies on her board of directors, it seemed that they were making a full recovery. However, new technology was undermining the company's business model, and serious pressures emerged from competitors. But the real reason behind their downfall, I believe, was their corporate governance. So the main problem that existed in this case that I believe is going to be the main point of my presentation is corporate governance. The problem was Martha Stewart had complete control of every part of her company. There was no separation of ownership, and frustrated over efforts to distance her from the company, Martha Stewart took steps to take her ownership stake, and that was 94% at the time, to regain control of the company. Just a few days after her sentencing in July of 2004, Martha Stewart began remaking the board of directors so that she could have full command and control of the company even while she was in jail. 2 weeks before Martha Stewart reported to her federal prison, which was in West Virginia, to begin sentencing that 5-month prison sentence, the newly reconstructed board renewed her employment contract through 2009. Her base salary was continued at $900,000 with a bonus of up to 150% of the salary. Eventually, a dispute over Stewart's compensation reportedly led major changes in the board. In 2004, her contract that renewed annual fees for use of her homes and images was set to expire in 2009, but Stewart began pushing the board in 2008 for a make-whole payment, or payments that would make up for the reduction. This led to board directors to eventually leave, and this led Martha Stewart to rebuild the board, and this swiftly made it approved of the compensation package. This included a $3 million payment to Martha Stewart, which the company alternatively labeled a make-whole payment for rights to her home and image for September of 2007 through August of 2009, and also a retention bonus. The package also included a $100,000 non-accountable expense allowance, $193,000 in talent fees, and $33,000 to pay people who worked for Martha Stewart directly. So, out of hand executive compensation definitely occurred. As Chief Talent Officer, Martha Stewart drew total in 2000 of $2.8 million. That amount was down from $4.7 million the year before, but analysts say her pay was still out of line with the revenues that they created. So Stewart also received $2 million a year or more under an intangible asset license agreement that paid her for corporate use of her image in homes and promotions and demos like I was talking about before. This is a part of the managerial opportunism by Martha Stewart. She took advantage because she had full control too, and she thought that this was in the hence best way that the company could go about things, but really they weren't. They were all about her personal profit, and yeah. So Martha Stewart expenses many other parts of her life also, which included a weekend driver and a personal trainer. She said all this spending was necessary to maintain the quality for which her brand was known. When Martha Stewart Omnimedia posted a 14.6 million loss in 2009, Stewart's total compensation hit $9.8 million, including a retention bonus, $2.6 million in intangible assets fee, a $178,000 talent fee, $178,000 for security services, $49,000 for a weekend driver, and a $100,000 non-accountable expense allowance. During the 4 years ending in 2012, a period when the company losses totaled $96 million, Martha Stewart still collected nearly $27 million herself. In 2005, the company posted its largest ever annual loss of $75.8 million. However, the annual report chosen to focus on, instead of just the 12% revenue increase, as evidence that the turnaround is real and the avenues for growth are vast. However, that was not a real truth. It was just hiding the fact that they had the largest ever annual loss of $75.8 million and tried to cover it up by saying that they had a 12% revenue increase. So, here's some reasons that we have corporate governance. Corporate governance is a set of mechanics used to manage relationships among stakeholders and determine and control the strategic direction and performance of organizations. Then you can take that strategy and figure out how to get it done the most effective way. We want to create this balance point to establish harmony between the company's owner and its top level managers. Their interests might be aligned differently, causing conflict. Separation of ownership works by diffusing ownership concentration so that managerial control doesn't get out of hand, like in the case of Martha Stewart. The board of directors are put into place to represent the company's owners and control top-level managers and owners to make sure that they don't do anything that aren't in everyone's interests. And as far as free cash flows go, if the board of directors do their job, you usually don't have to worry about it. But in the case of Martha Stewart, free cash flows can lead to CEO getting out of hand and giving themselves executive compensation that isn't really needed, as well as invest in their funds and put them in places that don't benefit everyone. So in conclusion, boards of directors have a fiduciary duty. This means that they are required by law to manage top-level management and owners. When a CEO gets out of hand, the board of directors is usually involved too, or they're too lax in their control. Diversifying your board of directors is very important. CEOs and top-level managers usually are part of the composition of the board. Next, you need related outsiders, which are people who have relationships with the firm but not involved with day-to-day operations. And last, you need outsiders who are completely disconnected from the company. Not enough diversification can lead to another Martha Stewart case. Ethics take care of not only the stakeholders but also the company themselves. The only way to do business today is completely ethical. Good corporate governance can help everything in place and keep a business running smoothly for many years. Bad corporate governance is bad for everyone: the CEO, managers, stakeholders, and the company themselves. Don't let short-term temptations drive you to ruin your bright future. Here's a quick reference tab. And thank you for listening. Stay safe with the coronavirus. Make sure that you stay connected with all the people that you care about and your loved ones, and stay positive through it all. Thank you very much.